Andrew McCutchen versus the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's the battle that I don't think anybody signed up for, but it's happening right now. They had their fan fest this past weekend. Cutch is not there. Why? Cutch is a free agent. He has not gotten a phone call from the Pirates. He's been signing up to one-year contracts last couple of years, $5 million, and he's very vocal on Twitter. We love him for that. He's a great personality in our sport. He said he hasn't gotten a phone call from the Pirates. At one point this offseason, he explained how he can still do some outfield. I mean, he didn't do a ton of it, but he can, right? Still in good shape to be able to run around in the outfield. Ben Charrington at FanFest for the Pirates, and I'll paraphrase here, was saying how they're laser focused on winning more games this year, and how he didn't say Cutch wasn't in the mix. He just said, we'll see. It was kind of a we'll see. Here we go. Where's Cutch? And here's the answer from Charrington, to be exact. Andrews meant a ton to the franchise. Our approach this offseason has been laser focused on what gives us the best chance to win more baseball games in Pittsburgh than we have in the past seasons. I will add a Captain Obvious to the back end of that answer, but that is your job as GM, and they've done a nice job. They haven't done a ton, but they've done a little bit. Todd Father, whose side are you taking here? Should Andrew McCutchen be on the 2026 Pirates? If he does end up on the Pirates, should they have figured this out before FanFest? And what does the contract look like for someone who was close to league average with his offense last year, and at times looked like one of their best bats because their offense was so bad last year?
This is a tough one, but I'm always going to side with the player. I don't think there's an argument like between the two of them, between Charrington and McCutchen, but I feel like McCutchen deserves to at least be in the know about what they're trying to do here. Fun-loving guy. Everybody loved him in Pittsburgh. This would not be a good way to go out. Maybe there was a disconnect of knowing like when he wanted to retire. I don't know if they have had conversations. There's got to be more to this to what we're hearing here than what we see on top of the surface, because we don't know how many conversations those two had. We don't know what both of them were thinking. But I love what McCutchen said. He told basically whoever said that, listen, you're not going to write my story, man. My story's not done. I think I can play, and he's confident, and I believe he still can play. And I believe the only team he should play for is the Pirates. So I hope they come to a conclusion on this. I hope they find a way to get him another year deal. Maybe put some stipulations on it. I don't know, but I feel like him coming out and saying this, I think he wants one more year at least. So I would love to hear McCutchen talk about this too, just to see where his mindset is.
We can try and get him on the show. We can work on that. We've had him on before. So there was a radio host in Pittsburgh who said, on the Andrew McCutchen reunion tour, because he's done 3 years, that's great. But they never won more than 90 or 76 games during the last few years. I respect what he's meant to the franchise and city, but he's 39. At some point, you have to look at different, better ways to win, even if it means moving on. Cutch quote tweeted that, and he replied, I wonder, did the Cards do this with Wainwright, Pujols, Yachty, Dodgers to Kershaw, Tigers to Miggy? The list goes on and on. If this is my last year, it would have been nice to meet the fans one last time as a player, talking about FanFest. Talk to them about my appreciation for them over the years. Shake that little kid's hand or hug the fan that's been a fan since Clemente. You see, this is bigger than baseball, bigger than looking at a 40-man roster and cherry-picking numbers that fit your agenda or prove why your opinion matters. The fans deserved at the very least to get that opportunity. I don't know what the future holds for me at the present moment, but what I do know is I'm 39 on the back end of my career. I still work every day to be better than I was before. If there wasn't a burning desire to continue this journey, I would be home surrounded by my family, in which no one would judge or be surprised, but not yet. There's more work to do, and I'm not done. No matter what label you try to stamp on me, rip the jersey off me, you don't get to write my future. God does. So, Kratz, what do you think? And when this stuff comes out, people want to pick sides. Should Andrew McCutchen be on the 26 roster, and should the Pirates be handling this differently? I'll just add this one caveat. Even if the Pirates didn't want him back, why is there not a phone call? And if they do want him back, which Charrington still is alluding to, phone call. Hi, Andrew. We're still working through our offseason. We'll see how the roster shakes out, but we are thinking about bringing you back, and it might look at 1 year, whatever the number is that they come up with. We'll keep you posted.
$5 million, 1 year, $5 million. I mean, it's just a standard Andrew McCutchen contract. I'm not going to sit here and argue because Todd already said the player's part of it, whether he should be on the team or shouldn't be on the team. It's more about what you said, Scott. It's more about the fact that organizations don't just wake up and go, you know what? We're going to try to compete this year. They knew what their plan, quote unplanned, was going to be when the offseason started. That conversation could have been had at the end of last season. Now, maybe Ben Cherington was saying, maybe they're going to fire me, so I don't really want to be the bad guy and talk to Andrew McCutchen about this. But the conversation needed to be had last year. I saw Cutch in April, and we were hanging out before the game, and he was playing outfield at that time. And he was like, because Reynolds was down with I want to say a shoulder or something. So he was still hitting, but he was not playing the outfield at that point. He said, at my age, it's not the fact that I have to play the outfield. He said it's the fact that you have to work into playing the outfield. You have to get your reps out there. And when you get your reps out, he's like, when I get my reps out there, I'm good. I know where I need to be. He's like, I'm not running around center field. He said, I'm good to go. It's just the fact that if you're DH, and then all of a sudden, bang, you're in the outfield for 4 out of 7 days, it doesn't work like that. You don't just rip the Band-Aid off right away. He's like, but if I know I got to play the outfield 4 of 7 days, 5 of 7 days, he's like, then I just work myself up to it and I'm able to get ready for that. So that's where maybe a little bit of a lack of communication. Now there's a new manager. Don Kelly comes in. Maybe he's able to communicate with him once he's on the team, but I think he's still a viable piece to this organization. But as a guy who I played with in 2009, my first year with the Pirates, he made his big league debut that year. The fact that you're talking about since 2009, he's going on his 17th season in the big leagues. You say there's a piece of that organization that if they really care about the fans, there's something that needs to be done differently than how it's been done so far this offseason to Andrew McCutchen.
I wonder what the conversations were like last year. I mean, he's been part of the organization for a few years. I know you talked about this a little bit, Todd Father. Don't you think they would have sat down with him and said, hey, what's your plan? How much longer do you want to play so we can try and make this as beautiful as possible?
Yeah, and I didn't hit that. I'm glad Kratzy brought that up. Like, where is the communication, man? That's the most frustrating part. Been with the organization. You know, I only played about 20 games, but spring training on, the communication was okay. I mean, but at the same time, like with this guy, come on, dude. Like, that's the more frustrating part. Like, hey, dude, we're going to talk to you in the offseason. If we can't talk now, just something, a little leeway of what they're trying to do. You know, if he gets mad over that, then so be it. But at least they told him exactly what they were thinking. And that's the issue on hand. It's like, yeah, you want to win more. Okay, I get it. Yeah, you want a surplus of great athletes coming into your organization, but you also want to be respectable and let a guy go out on his terms, and what he did for that city can't be unmatched by anybody. So that's the problem. No communication. Just like when I tell my 12-year-olds in basketball when they're playing defense, where the heck's your communication? There is none. So they need it.
I don't know how Ben Cherington should have said this, but it got me a little, like, it made my neck, like hairs on my neck stand. Yes, and I do have hair on my neck. Stand up. Like, where I was like, man, like he could have said it differently. Like, hey, where's Andrew McCutchen? Essentially, he said, oh, we're trying to win, so that's why we're not bringing him back. Like, what? First of all, you should be laser focused on winning every single day, no matter if you're playing only the minimum, big league call-ups. You should be laser focused on how you're trying to win. It's not just like, well, you know what? We're not trying this year. Oh, wait a minute. Ben Cherington said that. Essentially, he said that in his own words. And how he should have said it, like, I just feel like there was a better way to say, hey, you know what? We're not bringing Andrew back right now because we're looking at other options. Like, give me a vague, not, well, we're really laser focused. We want to win. And you know why we're not picking him? Because we want to win, is essentially what he said. And that, to me, that might fire Cutch up a little bit. Get them old knees cranking up.
Do you think that this can be salvaged, or do you think we're past that point, right? I mean, you can call and apologize. You don't think it can be salvaged, Kratz?
I don't. And I think Cutch had no desire to go play anywhere else. I mean, my guy's he's got all the kids. He's got every one of the kids. And he doesn't want to go anywhere else. And it's tough. Todd, I don't know if you ever played. You never played where you stayed at home, but you play a season where you stay at your house, the house you live in the off season, and then you go to the season, you go to your games, you come back to that house. All of a sudden, you're like, wait a minute. What does that look like again? Okay, I'm signing with the team in Arizona. That's 6 weeks away. Okay, and then, wait a minute. I'm never going to be home. And then there's other people. There's other people that are saying, "Wait, what did the Pirates say?" Well, they didn't call. Well, what did they say? Why don't you call them? See what they're thinking. Like that's a tough transition. But Cutch he definitely is pissed. I'm not going to say he seems pissed. He's definitely pissed from his tweet, and he wasn't necessarily hitting back at the Pirates. More so, what the guy on 93.7 The Fan was saying.
Yeah, he's irritated. Yeah, he's irritated for sure.
Motivated. I'm motivated.
Chip on the shoulder, and also this is a legacy player. So I just think it's so important again to go back to what Todd Father tells the youngsters in the basketball team: communication. Because you are going to want Andrew McCutchen at future Fan Fest. You're going to want him to be at spring training, post-playing career. You're going to want him to be part of future marketing opportunities. That's important. The teams that know what they're doing from a community perspective, from a fan engagement perspective, and even from a business perspective, have some of the vets show back up at certain times during the year. And Andrew McCutchen is the most notable Pittsburgh Pirate in a while. So be careful.
Yeah, and they have old veteran guys go. I've had guys at the Reds Fest for the past 20, 25 years since they've had it come back. Yeah, every year. And their lines are always packed for an autograph or a picture.
So now in the last calendar year, the Pirates have covered up Roberto Clemente wall with a drink option. They got rid of bricks that fans paid for to have outside to commemorate their generations of fans. And now they got a little, not even a tiff, just like poor communication with their current living franchise player.
Who is super popular.
With the fans.
That's where you have to be careful. Yeah, you need to do some introspection and say, hey, are we doing everything we should be doing correctly here? And if not, how do we actually make changes? Because that stuff permeates through an entire organization, and that actually is part of a winning culture. How do you do things? How do you conduct business with everyone, with the fans, with players, with former players? I think all of that matters. We see some of the best organizations really thrive with that.